You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Scoreboard Show, podcast number 245.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana with a little bit of major national sports news. Anything Central Indiana sports fans are talking about, that's what we're talking about.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Today is April 24th, 2025. Happy birthday, Clarabelle. It's a Thursday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. I'm coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville, of course, home of the state champion Red Devils. Sorry I've been a little late the last couple of days. We had some issues in lunch detention. I'm just telling you that to let you know that it will happen from time to time. Coming up, we have so much. IU versus Ball State in baseball and softball, NFL draft news, NBA and NHL updates with some Pacers news, Indy 500 test results, and another big day for the Chicago Cubs, plus tons of local high school baseball, softball, tennis, and golf results, and the best news and notes section in all of Central Indiana sports podcasting. But first, this is the part of the podcast where I ask you to please go to YouTube and subscribe. We've almost doubled our numbers since I started asking a couple of months ago, so really appreciate that. Also, earlier Thursday, we released our Delaware County Sports Report with Star Press sports editor Kate Hampton. We talked about Delaware County softball and baseball. It's been really good to start the season. That's podcast 244.2. And later Thursday, we hope to have a Pacers report, but I'm not quite sure yet. Pretty sure we'll have that for you, but check back for that one. And the first thing Friday morning, we'll have our NFL draft reaction. We're going to have NFL draft podcasts and NBA playoff podcasts all weekend into next week. We start the Scoreboard show somewhere where we don't usually, and that's with local college baseball and softball. IU exploded for 9 fifth-inning runs and beat Ball State 14-4 in 7 innings in a baseball game Wednesday at Victory Field. It was the usual suspects for IU. Will Moore was 2 for 3 and scored twice. Devin Taylor had a pair of doubles and drove in 3, and Corbin Dickerson was 2 for 5 with a triple. 8 different IU pitchers held the Cardinals to 3 hits. Ball State's Garrett Harker was named finalist for NCBWA Stopper of the Year. Harker is 4-1 with 7 saves and a 3.94 ERA in 16 games this season. In softball, IU won its 30th game of the season 14-1 over Ball State. Taylor Minnick was 3 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Allie Van Brandt and Brianna Copeland also homered. Copeland earned the pitching win, her 14th of the season. Also, Purdue softball improved to 26-17 behind Julia Gossett's one-hitter, and IUK baseball lost 9-8 at Georgetown College. The annual NFL Draft is being held Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Green Bay. The Titans have the first pick and will most likely take Miami quarterback Cam Ward. After that, no one really knows. ESPN's Peter Schrager said on the Bill Simmons podcast that the second and third picks could very well be traded, with the Cowboys looking to move up into one of those spots. Field Yates of ESPN has the Colts selecting Michigan tight end Colton Loveland with the 14th pick in his final mock draft. We will have a full report of the first half of Thursday's first round early Friday morning through the Colts pick. We're all going to get together, all of our football fans, for a podcast late Thursday night after the Colts pick, and we will release that Friday morning. We'll also have a full report on the draft sometime Sunday, and we'll break down the Colts picks on Monday on the Colts Report with Eli Edwards. That will also likely be released in its normal spot Tuesday at 5 a.m. The upstart Rockets have evened the series with the Golden State Warriors with a 109-94 win late Wednesday. Jalen Green scored 38, and Jimmy Butler left the game for the Warriors in the first quarter after a hard fall and did not return. The Celtics are up 2-0 on the Magic after a 109-100 win, and Cleveland is up 2 games on Miami after a 121-112 win. On Thursday, the Knicks and Pistons start things off at 7 o'clock on TNT. The series is tied 1-1. That game is in Detroit. The Thunder look to go up 3-0 on the Grizzlies in Memphis. That game's at 9:30 on TNT. And at 10 o'clock on NBA TV, the Nuggets and Clippers will break their 1-1 tie in that series. The Pacers are off until Friday evening when they play Game 3 in Milwaukee. The Pacers are up 2-0 and dominated the first two games against the Bucks. Scott Agnes of the Pacers announced Wednesday that if Game 5 between the Pacers and Bucks is necessary, and let's hope that it's not, it will be at 7 p.m. at the Fieldhouse on NBA TV and the FanDuel Network. I am just the messenger. In the NHL playoffs, the Capitals are up 2-0 on Montreal after a 3-1 win, and the Kings are up 2-0 on the Oilers after a 6-2 victory on Wednesday. And Tyler Seguin scored a goal in overtime to lift Dallas to a 2-1 win in Denver and a 2-1 series lead on the Avalanche. There are 4 games Thursday starting at 6:30 on TBS, and that's the Panthers and Lightning. That's followed by Maple Leaf Senators on ESPN2 at 7, Golden Knights and Wild on TBS at 9, and the Jets and Blues on ESPN2 at 9:30. The Chicago Cubs and Pete Crow Armstrong continue to be the story of the early season in Major League Baseball. The Cubs beat the Dodgers by a run for the second straight game, 7-6, behind Crow Armstrong's 3-for-4 4 RBI performance. He hit his 5th home run in the 4th inning to put the Cubs up 3-2. After LA scored 3 times in the 5th, Crow Armstrong's RBI single put the Cubs up 7-5. They are now 16-10, 2.5 games ahead of defending National League Central champion Milwaukee, and 3.5 ahead of the Reds, who salvaged their series in Miami with a 5-2 win Wednesday. The Cubs host the Phillies beginning this weekend, and the Reds go to Denver to face the Rockies. Scott Dixon was the fastest at Wednesday's Indy 500 Open Test at IMS. Dixon's speed was 225.182. Two-time defending champion Takuma Sato was also in the 225 range. Marcus Armstrong, Colton Herta, two-time national champion and 2025 points leader Alex Palou, and 4-time Indy 500 champion Elio Castroneves were all over 224. Central Indiana stars Connor Daly and Ed Carpenter were 12th and 22nd, respectively. Felix Rosenquist was the fastest without a toe at 220.835. Early Thursday, NASCAR star Kyle Larson and Sato both had practice crashes. We'll have Thursday's complete results on Friday's Scoreboard show. IndyCar's next race is at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama on Sunday, May 4th at 1:30 on Fox. The following week is the IndyCar Road Race on Saturday, May 10th, and then the 109th Indianapolis 500 Sunday, May 25th. To some news and notes, Chicago Bears legend Steve Mongo McMichael has died at age 67 after a long battle with ALS. McMichael was the character of characters on the 1985 Super Bowl champion Bears. ESPN's Jeff Borzello has Purdue ranked number 1 in his latest way too early college basketball rankings. Houston is 2nd, St. John's 3rd, Texas Tech 4th, and Louisville 5th, according to Borzello. Hamilton Southeastern has added former Indiana All-Star, Ball State Cardinal, and Noblesville assistant coach Michael Bennett to its coaching staff. Sheridan High School announced Wednesday that Riker Ream has committed to wrestle at Trine University. Yorktown volleyball star Shanice Williams is committed to play for national champion Indiana Wesleyan. Sydney Bolden became the 3rd Ball State women's basketball player to transfer to IU Indy, joining Haley and Olivia Smith, according to Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star Press. Maddie DeBargia and Caroline Smith will participate in the women's golf NCAA Regional Monday through Wednesday at Keene Trace at Lexington, Kentucky next week. The Charlie Riley Track and Field Invitational has been moved from Friday up a day to Thursday, and from Marion to North Central High School in Indianapolis. The meet will begin Thursday at 5:30. The Grant 4 softball and baseball draws were held Wednesday, for the tournaments being held Saturday, May 3rd. Both tournaments will be held at Madison Grant. The softball tournament will feature Madison Grant against Mississinawa in the opener at 10, followed by Eastbrook versus Mississinawa with the championship game an hour after the second semifinal ends. It's the same format for the baseball tournament, but it's Oak Hill against Mississinawa in the first semifinal and Madison Grant against Eastbrook in the second. Tickets are $7 for the day. Tipton and Frankton baseball will be played at 5:30 on Thursday. The game was originally scheduled for Monday at Tipton, but was postponed. Again, the game is at Frankton, and according to Michelle Garman of the Tipton Tribune, the 2026 contest between the schools will also be played at Frankton. The Elwood Athletic Department announced that Saturday's baseball game against Sheridan has been moved to Elwood and will start at 10 a.m. After Mississinawa's tragedy earlier this week, the Indians' games against Frankton, both baseball and softball Thursday, have been postponed. No due dates have been set. We move to some local high school sports, starting with softball. Frankton is 6-2 after beating Anderson 11-3. Lonnie Coffey and Claire Osborne each drove in 3 runs, and Morgan Sparks got her first win of the season. Letitia Armenta went 2 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs for 2 and 5 Anderson. Hamilton Heights earned a season sweep of Tipton with a 12-0 victory behind Lily Cash's strong pitching performance. She allowed just 4 hits in 5 shutout innings and struck out 11. Cash also helped herself on offense with a home run and 3 RBIs. Haley Hall was 4 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs for the 7-4 Huskies. Ella Lobeck was 2 for 3 for Tipton and is batting .345 on the season. Elwood's late comeback attempt fell short against Daleville in an 8-6 loss. The Panthers scored 3 times in the 7th and had the tying run at the plate, but Emily Simmons completed her complete game win. Simmons was also 4 for 4 at the plate with a double, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs, and Reagan Jackson drove in 3. Kelsey Arms hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the first to put Elwood up 3-2. Daleville's now 5-2, Elwood 3-4. Olivia Watson threw a 3-hit shutout, and Shenandoah beat Blackford 10-0. Reese Sprunger was 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs, and Lydia Schwagmeyer had 2 doubles for the 5-1 Raiders. Blackford falls to 2-4. LaPel scored 13 times in the first inning, and 3 pitchers, Addison Bodenhorn, Tinley Dyer, and Madison Wainscott, combined on a 1-hit shutout in the Bulldogs' 20-0 win over Muncie Central. Jama Everson had 2 hits, and Ava Everman 2 RBIs as LaPel won its 10th game of the year. Spencer Martin had a pair of doubles, and Kinley Martin had a single and a double, but it wasn't enough in Kokomo's 7-3 loss to McCutcheon. The Wildcats are now 5-4. Yorktown is 7-1 overall and 3-0 in the HHC after a 21-1 victory over rival Delta. Olivia Jarman was 4 for 4 with a couple of doubles, 3 runs and 2 RBIs. Anna Rinker homered and drove in 4. Anna All and Brooklyn Bartle had 3 hits apiece for the Tigers, and Olivia Jones improved to 4-0 pitching on the year. Norwell scored 7 times in the 6th to pull away from Marion for a 15-5 victory. Allie Ernest was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs for the 2-6 Giants. With 5 runs already in the 7th and the tying run on second, Kaylee Smith was caught trying to steal third base, and Carmel preserved an 8-7 victory over Pendleton Heights. Smith was 2 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs in the loss. The Arabians are 6-6. Delphi scored the game's final 6 runs and beat Tri-Central 7-3 in a Hoosier Heartland contest. Layla Keith, Layla Baldwin, and Adriana Perez scored runs, and Logan Creason had an RBI for the Trojans. Rossville scored 7 times in the 3rd and 11 in the 4th and beat Taylor 18-0. Jelena Harris, Mackenzie Reed, and Trinity Calvert each had 2 hits for the 0-4 Titans. Northwestern won its Three River Conference debut Wednesday with a 3-0 win over Whitco. Stevie Ray Hedges and Bailey Marcus combined on a 3-hit shutout and struck out 16 Wildcats. Offensively, Tess Orton had 2 hits, including a double, and scored twice for the 3-4 Tigers. And Bailey West threw a 3-hit shutout in Westdale's 6-0 win over Southern Wells. She got plenty of help from Marley Bartram and Tori Ward, who had 2 hits apiece and both drove in 2 runs. Bartram had a double and a home run. Some other games of interest around the area. New Pal beat Zionsville 9-5, bouncing back from its first loss of the season Tuesday to Yorktown. It was Chittard 14, Garin 4, Westfield 10, Harrison 1. West Lafayette beat Central Catholic 15-3. Rochester got by Southwood 3-2 in a Three Rivers Conference contest. In another TRC game, Manchester beat Mechanical 5-4 and Peru beat Cass 3-0. Winchester beat Richmond 25-2 and Tri got by Eastern Hancock 12-1. We move to the baseball diamonds where Alexandria had knocked off number 1 Knightstown for its third straight win and is now 8-2 on the season. The Tigers beat Knightstown 9-2 on Wednesday. Owen May, Adrian Smith, and Trevor Martin all drove in 2 runs, and Mason Fuller and John Amon both scored twice. Grayson Gaines gave up just 1 earned run and picked up his first varsity win in his first varsity start. LaPel is 10-0 after a 12-1 win over Eastern Hancock. The Bulldogs scored 5 runs in the first inning, and that was plenty enough for Hogan Bear, who allowed just 1 run on 1 hit in 4 innings. Ray Smith provided much of the offense with a double and 4 RBIs, and Eli Sakaki scored 3 times. Caleb Hare had a double and a triple, and Jack Roach threw 5 strong innings in Tipton's 5-2 win over Hamilton Heights. Hare had a couple of RBIs and scored a run, and Roach allowed just 1 earned run on 3 hits and struck out 12 Huskies. Gabe Wigington got the save with 2 shutout innings. Tipton is now 3-7, the Huskies 2-7. Tri-Central jumped out to a 4-1 lead on Delphi and held on for a 4-3 win thanks to a strong pitching performance in a complete game by Brody Arnold. Arnold also had 2 RBIs in the win. Blake Hartman also drove in 2, and Nate Cherry scored twice in the Trojans' first win of the season. Anderson is 2-0 in the NCC after beating Richmond 9-6. With the game tied at 6 apiece in the 7th, the Indians played small ball to score 3 and take the lead, and Hunter Anderson struck out the side in the 7th to preserve the win. Kokomo scored 10 times in the 3rd and beat Muncie Central 15-4 in an NCC contest. J.J. Gillespie was 2 for 2 with 4 RBIs. Brighton Harris picked up the win for the 4-4 Wildcats. Logansport scored 8 times in the 1st and 7 more times in the 2nd, and the Berries stunned Western 15-1. Cal Berryman had a single and a double for 10-2 Western. Northwestern beat Whitco 9-0 in its first ever Three Rivers Conference game. Tegan Helmley homered and drove in 3 runs, and Carson Griggs allowed just 1 hit and struck out 10 in 5 innings for the 9-2 Tigers. Pendleton Heights remained unbeaten at 9-0 and improved to 6-0 in the Hoosier Heritage with a 6-4 win at Shelbyville. In back-to-back nights, the Arabians beat Shelbyville 5-4 and 6-4. On Wednesday, they scored all 6 of their runs in the first 2 innings, and Jackson Grill had another big game with a double and 3 runs scored. Jordan Williamson was 2 for 3 and scored twice. Greenfield Central came from behind to beat Yorktown for the 2nd straight day, this time 9-4. The Cougars scored 7 times in the 6th and 7th. Ryan Burkholder had a single, a double, and drove in a run for 5-5 Yorktown. Delta won its 4th game and earned a season sweep of Newcastle thanks to a 1-hit outing from ace Zane Klein. Klein struck out 11 and allowed just 3 base runners in the win. Everett Lynn had an RBI double, and Chase Ritchie had a double and scored a run for the Eagles. In the other HAC contest, New Powell beat Mount Vernon 2-1 behind a masterpiece pitching performance from Holden Hughes. It's the Dragons' first series sweep of the Marauders in 6 years. Wapahani scored 7 times in the 6th and pulled away to beat Centerville 13-4 for its 4th straight win. 6 different Raiders had an RBI, and Nate Luce was 3 for 4 and scored 3 times. In the Hoosier Heartland, Clinton Prairie beat Sheridan 6-1 and Rossville blanked Taylor 10-0. Some other scores of interest: Carmel beat Terre Haute North 1-0. Avon blanked Hamilton Southeastern 14-0. Lafayette Central Catholic beat West Lafayette 12-1. Cass beat Peru 11-9, and it was Wabash 10, Northfield 8. We move to high school girls tennis, where Alexandria is 8-0 after beating Tipton 5-0. The big match was at number 1 singles and could be a good postseason preview. Avery Cuneo beat Tipton's previously unbeaten Kendall Coe in 3 sets. Frankton beat Hamilton Heights 5-0 Wednesday. All 3 Eagles singles players won in straight sets, including Lainey Hamaker's 6-1, 6-1 win over Evie Maiden at number 1. The doubles matches were much closer. Addie Moore and Haley Harrison came back from a game down to win 10-2 in the super tiebreaker at number 2 doubles. Marion beat Madison Grant 5-0, winning 48 of the 49 contested games. Both doubles teams for Marion, Nyla Hubert and Gwen Annunciato, and Aubrey Rodel and Raveline Ray both won 6-0, 6-0. All three Kokomo singles players won 6-0, 6-0. Pendleton Heights beat Shenandoah 5-0. Arabian junior Sarah Ghosh beat Audrey Marion in 3 sets, avenging one of her losses from last season. The HHC Traveling Trophy, the Racket, returns to Delta after the Eagles beat defending conference champion Mount Vernon 3-2 in a key Hoosier Heritage contest. Northwestern edged Peru 3-2. Northwestern got wins from Emma Mala and both doubles teams. Eastern beat Mechaniqual 4-1. Gianna Beachy won 6-0, 6-0 at number 2 singles. Morgan Kaiser won 6-0, 6-2 at number 2, and both doubles teams won in straight sets. Julia Sulke and Reagan Princell needed a second set tiebreaker to win at number 1 singles. Richmond beat Anderson 5-0. The Red Devils lost just 7 games in the 5 matches. And finally, to high school boys golf, Frankton defeated Mississinawa 156-173 at Meadowbrook. Isaac Fair was the medalist with a 36, a shot better than teammate Reed Utterback, and 2 shots ahead of Roger Shepard. Also for the Eagles, Jet Hyatt and Jack Fettig shot 45s. Oak Hill had a great night, posting a 165 at Elwood for a 19-stroke win. Trent Nelson was the medalist with a 39, a shot better than teammate Carton Hess. Corbin Daly shot a 42, Braden Summers a 44, and Otto Neary a 46 for the Golden Eagles. Deacon Gregg and Aiden Nichols both shot 43s, and Luke Grover a 45 for Elwood. Western shot a 166 at Chippendale Wednesday and beat Rossville by 10 strokes. Lewis Cass topped Eastern 174-183 Thursday at Chippendale. Eastern's Gabe Gomez was co-medalist. Also for the Comets, Sam Torivo shot a 43, Cohen Johnson a 48, Callan Cook a 51, and Mitch Day a 53. Number 1 Westfield beat rival and third-ranked Guerin Catholic by 6 strokes and Lebanon by 18 in a 3-way meet at Ulan Country Club in Lebanon. And the Week 3 golf polls are out. Westfield, Noblesville, and Guerin are 1, 2, and 3. Zionsville 7th, Carmel 8th. Hamilton Southeastern 9th, Pendleton Heights 11th. Huntington North entered the poll for the first time and is number 15. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the Central Indiana Sports Report, please share this with your friends and family. Thank you. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.